Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the first new moon of 2024 happening on January the 11th in the sign of Capricorn. So we have the 111 energy of new beginnings, and this new moon is definitely accelerating things. And you may feel that energy of acceleration toward the things you are creating, your manifestations in 2024. This energy of acceleration doesn't mean we go into chaotic mode where we are taking action just for the sake of taking action and checking things off our to-do list or being really busy. We can accelerate our manifestations while still feeling very grounded and centered in our body. So if you do find you are feeling this energy of acceleration or even maybe the energy of pressure as we begin this new year, I invite you to take time each day to come back to your truth, ground. You can do that by, a few minutes of deep breathing, connecting into your body, revisiting what your intentions are for this new year. So you can take action in a way that reflects those intentions. So you can get your thoughts and belief systems in alignment with those intentions and not just taking a lot of action for the sake of taking action and feeling like, okay, now I'm being productive, but really we're not moving toward what we actually want. So this new moon certainly supports us in taking deliberate, intentional action. Now, there's also a lot going on with this new moon. So as always, I am going to pull up my chart, share the screen so you have the visual representation. There are just some things flowing through, some main themes that I want to share before we do that. So every planet is being aspected in some way in this new moon chart, which again is contributing to that energy of acceleration, but we can also feel into that state of flow with this energy as well. Now, something else I want to comment on where we are now a couple of weeks in by the time of the new moon into 2024. I know it's a time where we are setting intentions, perhaps New Year's resolutions, goals, picking our word for the year, our phrase. We all have different ways of doing this, but I think it's pretty safe to say in some way when it is a new year, we collectively feel this energy of a fresh start and a new beginning and the opportunity to look at what it is we want to experience throughout the year and then looking at what habits we want to have in place in order to get there. So keep in mind that those first 21 days of beginning a new habit, a new practice, this could even be in how we're training our brain to see things, to really feel like, yes, this goal that I once put on a pedestal is actually more in reach than I thought. Like whatever it is, those 21 days can feel like the most challenging. After that, it gets a lot easier. And that's why many people revert into old patterns and practices within the first month, because it is the hardest. It's when our brain is being rewired. But after that, we really begin to show up in a new way. And once a habit or practice is a part of who we are, it becomes easier because it's just who we are. It's how we see the world. It's how we show up. Like we don't have to actively go against our old autopilot programming. We now have new programming in place. So I really felt called to share that as well. Just keep in mind with anything you're working on, if it's feeling a little extra challenging, that's normal, but that's actually a part of the process. It's a part of developing a new practice, a new identity, a new way of seeing the world. It is normal and it will get easier over time. So let's dive more into the chart here. I have so much goodness to go over with you. So we have the new moon happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn, where the sun and the moon are conjunct. New energy, new beginnings. A new moon is that time we go within and we really ask ourselves what it is we desire. And a couple of weeks ago, around Christmas on the 26th, we have the full moon in Cancer, which is the opposite side of Capricorn. So the reason I'm bringing up this energy is the Cancerian full moon being the opposite of Capricorn was really about coming back to our heart and looking at what is it I actually truly love? What really lights me up? What matters to me? Not what someone told me I'm supposed to work toward or what somebody else told me I am supposed to want. What is it that I actually desire? What lights me up? Because there's a lot of power in this new moon to move toward the goals we want. And we want to be sure we are moving toward things that are actually meaningful for us and not past reflections of us, past versions of us, or other people's goals and desires. So, coming back to that, what is it you really desire? Now, the Capricorn energy is so good for creating discipline and structure and persisting toward what it is we desire, looking beyond just the in the moment gratification and instead looking at what is the life I want for myself. And it doesn't need to be one or the other. We can then look at aligning our intentions and how we feel about certain actions in the moment when we know that it's getting us closer to the life that we want to live. It doesn't feel like something that's really hard anymore. So, I often use this example with exercise or going to the gym. We may not feel like working out in the moment, but we know we want our body to feel energized. We know we want to feel healthy. So, when we look at what is needed or required in order to get there, in the moment, it makes it easier to take those actions of going to the gym, scheduling 30 minutes to work out when you know it's helping you create the life you desire. So, this is really good energy for looking at that, what we are working toward. Now, a big part of this conversation is Pluto at 29 degrees. I would say it's far enough away from this new moon. It's not directly interacting with it, yet it is very much a part of the storyline right now. It is very significant for what is happening on the planet. During this time of accelerated ascension, more people locking into their purpose, the gifts they're here to share with the world. There's so much I can say around this, and we will continue to talk about this shift of Pluto wrapping up in Capricorn and moving into Aquarius on the 20th, which is opening up a powerful portal. What's coming through right now is the archetypal energy of Capricorn and how it's expressed on the planet and understood within each of us has been going through a transformation for more than a decade now, with Pluto, the planet of power and transformation, traveling through this sign. So it's really helped us to explore what success actually means in our life, what it looks like. It has helped us collectively look at the narratives and structures of this planet, what ones are very supportive, very helpful, and what ones are simply outdated, and it's time to transcend and move beyond. So there's been such a shift happening collectively in terms of what we value, in terms of our power to influence collective consciousness. And the message I'm really receiving from the Akashic Records lately is that this reminder that each of us have the ability to influence collective consciousness. We're not a victim to it. The thoughts we entertain, the actions we take, how we live our life determines this collective energy. In 2024, we are recognizing this power more and more. The power we have to change narratives that we no longer want to engage in. We are part of the change. And as a light worker, we are bringing more love and unity to the planet. And we do that by how we show up, how we live, the conversations we engage in. You matter. You matter. Every person matters. And with this shift coming up of Pluto moving into Aquarius, beginning a new cycle that we're at just the beginning just the beginning of this new cycle. It is about power to the people. It is about recognizing our ability to influence collective consciousness. It is about recognizing our ability to create a more harmonious world. And we're all awakening to that in new and new ways. Now, the main aspect with this new moon is a trine to Uranus and Taurus. So Uranus is the awakener, the rebel, sometimes the disruptor. And right now it's traveling through Taurus. So we have a lot of earthy energy activated here with the moon in Capricorn, an earth sign, Uranus and Taurus, another earth sign. So there's a grounded element here about. Oh, so let me back up a little. So when we create, when we manifest, it is so helpful to tap into the field of pure potential and pure possibility. Moving beyond our current reality, moving beyond our past experiences, and remembering that each moment is essentially a new beginning. What frequency do we choose to operate from? What energy do we choose to embody? Each moment we get to choose that. And that's the field we want to create from. And then what we want to do is anchor it into this timeline, this perspective, into our human body, our physical experience. And that's where this energy, this earth element, is so helpful of grounding those desires into this timeline. So if you've ever felt, and I think we've all had this experience from time to time, there's a discrepancy between what's happening in your physical world and what it is you want. Often it's not fully grounded, landed, or anchored. So there's like a discrepancy between that part of you that knows what is possible and then the part of you that is existing here in human form. And we want to bring those together. You want to tap into that field of possibility and then anchor it into your earthly experience. And that's where we embody a new timeline, a new energy. We feel the energy of what we want to manifest. So this could be an amount of money you want to make. You feel that energy and then you take action that aligns you to creating that result. So there is an element of action, and this goes back to conscious, intentional action to get from where you are to where you desire to be. Now, this aspect here of Uranus can bring in opportunities, unexpected opportunities, answers, solutions, connections that help you move forward in your life, that help you move closer to the things that you have been working toward. This can also shake things up if you recognize that maybe the goals you have no longer light you up. This is an opportunity to revisit and reset. You want your goals. I know not everybody likes that word. We all have different associations with words. So if that's not your word, just replace it with what you want to manifest, what you want to experience. Replace it with a word that feels good for you. But basically, this energy, we want to feel connected to what we are working on creating. We want it to light us up. In our body, we want it to feel expansive. We want it to feel exciting. If it doesn't, it's time to revisit it, because our goals and intentions were meant to move beyond just the survival into this thriving energy of I get to feel good. I get to feel excited about what I'm working toward achieving in my life. Now, some other energies here, we also have Mars and Capricorn. Mars is a very, in your birth chart, Mars can share a lot, give a lot of insight on how you manifest, how you use your energy, how you express your energy in the world. Currently, Mars in Capricorn, it is exalted in this sign. So this is giving you a lot of support in moving forward with those goals, with those intentions, with those manifestations about creating the structures that help you get there. So for instance, if you have a goal to grow your business this year, you want to reach more soulmate clients with your work, you want to bring in more money for your services, this could be a commitment of I show up every day in some form and I share with my community. I help my community. I do a reel, I share a post, I do a video where I share my knowledge and I help my soulmate clients with problems they're struggling with. I help them tap into their desires. And this Capricorn energy is about the very practical component of I show up daily and I do my part. And then I trust the universe is also working with me, rearranging, bringing the right people to my videos at the right time, and it helps them and it creates that change. Yet you're still doing your part of showing up and actually writing the post and doing the video, and you're structuring it, right? There's an element of discipline here with the Capricorn energy that helps us get to where we want to be. Now, Mars is forming a beautiful aspect with Jupiter at 5 degrees of Taurus, again, the earth element. So much earthy, grounded energy here for us to tap into. So if you find it hard to be grounded or you find you can be a little floaty at times, this energy is really good for anchoring us back into the wisdom of our body. Now, this conversation between Mars and Jupiter really speaks to abundance. And this is something that's changing globally this year as well, our understanding of money, the understanding of the frequency of money, learning to tap into true abundance in our life, moving away from survival. And remember, we are all a part of creating this. The more that each of us attunes to our natural state of abundance, the more the energy and frequency of abundance is dominant on this planet. And this energy really speaks to that. Embodying abundance, go for a walk in nature. How can you not feel abundant when you're swimming in the ocean, when you're surrounded by trees, when you're connecting to the earth? Like, abundance is our truth. Notice all the areas in your life you already exist in overflow, where you already have more than enough. If you reflect on your life journey so far, you'll see all the blessings you've had. Allow that to compound in your life, because we collectively want to anchor this frequency in this year. And more of us are. Like, we're at a tipping point where more abundance is flowing in, and we're going to see that on the planet. It's always been our truth. So I really, really love this energy here. Now, the ruler of this new moon is Saturn, which is currently traveling through Pisces. Looking at some of the aspects here, and it's sextiling Mars as well. So see how all these planets are like interacting in main aspects. We have sextiles, trines, or squares. Like, this is a dynamic energy here. Electrical energy is what I'm hearing. You may feel that moving through your body, like a lot shifting here. So Saturn, being the ruler of this new moon, also embodies that element of discipline, of structure, of karma, and time. So we're also undergoing a collective shift in how we relate to time. We know that time, of course, is very real here on the earth plane, where we have trained ourselves to see a past, present, and future, where we've trained ourselves. If there's a meeting at 9:30, we show up for that time. The different time zones, we work from that space. And then we also recognize that in the quantum space, in the Akashic field, time doesn't exist. The language of the universe is actually frequency and energy. And there's a collective shift in understanding time, how we relate to it, where we've allowed it to cause us stress and tension, or limit what we are creating. When we set limits on our goals, then it actually just takes us out of the fun of creating. So we're awakening to ways that we've worked with time that are actually destructive, and we're going to see a collective shift in that this year, our understanding of time. I've already really seen that happening like the last few years, where a lot of people are finding like a rapid acceleration of time. So that shift has already been underway. Now, Saturn is very well aspected here, also sextiling Jupiter. So there's this feeling of being rooted in your power, and like this knowingness of, I can do it. I can do it. I can get to the business I want to have, the impact I want to make. We can create it. Like, there's a level of confidence, commitment, and optimism that's coming through with this energy. I want to share, before I get speaking of that, I have a free mini series coming up, which is all about how to live in alignment with your highest path for abundance, for leadership, and for impact by accessing your Akashic Records. So I'll attach the link below. It's going to be incredibly powerful and just a beautiful way to kick off this year and understand and appreciate how to align with your highest timeline. No one else's, your timeline. And an aside here, but also very significant for the astrological energies this year, and why I'm bringing in this component of leadership in the mini series, is we have the North Node in Aries right now. This is so significant here, conjuncting Chiron. So the North Node in Aries, leadership is really in focus this year, and we're seeing the rise of a heart-centered, soul-led leader. So a new style of leadership, new paradigm of what it really means to lead, and looking at yourself and seeing yourself as a leader. I know the clients that I work with, they're naturally leaders. They are the pioneers in their family. They're breaking generational patterns. They're committed to practicing a way of life that is more fulfilling. So we're recognizing this year the leader that exists within us all and what it really means to lead ourselves instead of just responding to what is. We recognize we are part of creating it. We have the courage to go first. We're no longer waiting on the sidelines. It's not about waiting for the universe to deliver what you want. It's about remembering your power to shift your energy and your frequency so you become a vibrational match to the experiences you want. We are recognizing that in a whole new way this year. We're healing those wounds with the North Node conjunct Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's where we may have in the past been insecure and afraid to show up and be visible and speak our truth. We're starting to overcome those fears and lead from our heart. Lead from our heart, because there's this interaction with this energy here, and then Venus over here in Sagittarius at 15 degrees. So this energy of when you're focused on service, when you're focused on following your heart, those fears of visibility become less and less because you're not as much in your ego anymore. You're just focused on showing up and being of service and doing what you love. So you're not caught up in what other people think. And like that fear energy that contracts us and is not helpful for the planet. You have a right to be heard. You have a right to speak your truth in the world. We're awakening to that with this energy. So I do want to just circle back with this Saturn energy as well. So I spoke about the shift in how we understand time on the planet, how that is rolling out. This is also about, bringing that sense of structure and routine into your life. So if you've been working on that, this energy is really helpful. Not a structure that boxes you in, but a structure that actually provides more spaciousness. So often, if we schedule things out and we have a schedule that is still flexible, we can change it day to day if we choose, but there's something that's allowing us to be intentional about where our focus is going, and we know we're making progress toward what we desire. It's a very helpful feeling, right? Instead of wasting energy, or we're fleeting from task to task, and that kind of energy can feel very discouraging, and we can leak a lot of energy when we're like, okay, now what do I do next? And we're jumping maybe from, TikTok to YouTube to Instagram, and we're just endlessly scrolling, and our energy is leaking as we do that. This new moon is about, okay, take a deep breath, come back to your body, come back to your intentions. What are you focused on this year? How do you want to feel? And then move from that place. So we're supported in moving very deliberately and intentionally. I also want to touch on this Mercury energy. So we began the year January 1st, Mercury went direct. And, a lot of people were feeling the energy of this year, but also I know like they're feeling the excitement. They know it's going to be a fast-paced year, but really taking that time to also kind of ease into the year. And I think, even at this new moon, more and more people are like showing up and really taking action in a new way. Because even though Mercury went direct, it's still in shadow until the 20th. So it's still covering the same territory again that it's covered now 3 times. So we're still revisiting aspects of our life that we need to purge, release, let go of in order to move into this new year without carrying the baggage from last year. Get to drop it. We get to let it go. So we're not just repeating the same thing over and over and wondering what's happening and feeling like we have no control over our reality. It's just simply we have unconscious patterns we're unaware of. So we're creating the same thing. But once we become aware, I know I've shared this quote often. It's coming in again. Carl Jung, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our life, and we will call it fate. So as soon as we become aware of those patterns, we're out of autopilot and we now have a choice. So this Mercury is significant here, and a portal. Take note of January 20th, January 21st, when we are going to have Mercury out of shadow, and we're going to have the Sun and Pluto moving into 0 degrees of Aquarius, because that's an opening of a very powerful portal that's representing this rapid ascension on the planet, a new way of understanding leadership, a new way of understanding abundance, a new understanding of our purpose, our spiritual gifts, and being more anchored and grounded in that than ever before. And feel in if there's anything else really jumping out here that I want to speak to in this chart. Okay, I am going to revisit Venus and Sagittarius here for a moment. Venus is the divine feminine, it's our heart, it's what we love. It's very joyful and uplifting in Sagittarius. It wants adventure, it wants freedom. So, earth energy is dominant in this chart, but there also is some fire energy coming in. So, I do actually like this combination because the earth energy is the practicality, it's the embodiment, it's the groundedness, but the fire is the passion. It's the drive, it's the desire to move forward, to create. And, in order to really move forward and have that excitement, there's an element of optimism and hopefulness that is required that Venus and Sagittarius can help us activate. Being hopeful that the past does not equal the future, which it doesn't, right? It no way does. Especially if you're here and you now know you don't have to repeat the same karmic cycles. You can rewire your brain, you can entertain new thoughts. So there's an element of joy and optimism. And a reminder to incorporate that into your life. The shadow side of the Capricorn energy can be the working until exhaustion, the burning out, the all work, no fun, no play. For me personally, I find they're so intertwined. Like my work in the world, my business is my purpose, it's my creative expression. I love it. So for me, they've always actually been very intertwined. Work and play are not even separate in my mind or world. They're very one. That's all intertwined. Now, look at what that means for you, though. Where are you in need of more joy, more play, more adventure? And what does that even look like? What does that look like for you? If you don't know, that's okay. You get to explore it. Venus and Sagittarius is also about the exploration of it because what that looked like last year may not be the same this year, it may even change next week. We're constantly evolving and growing, especially as we change our understanding of time. So you get to do those check-ins with yourself, do those check-ins, tune in, ask what lights you up at this time, this season, this cycle that you are currently in, and be sure to prioritize that. So share with me below, what are your intentions for this new moon? What are you manifesting? Let me hold that space for you. Be sure that you sign up for the upcoming mini series, How to Live in Alignment with Your Highest Path, for impact, for abundance, and for leadership. And yes, we're going to be talking a lot about the Akashic Records as well, which connects you to your soul blueprint, your blueprint for success, your unique journey. There's just so much wisdom that can be gained from accessing the records, especially at this time of rapid change and ascension on the planet. All right, I am sending you all so much love. Enjoy this beautiful new moon, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.